Mike, thank you very much. And the very first thing I would like to say this evening is that Mike Lenahan and Adam Sansolo and the board of directors of AFS are so committed to our industry and this organization. How about it for the board of directors and our leaders? You know, it wouldn't be a Foundry Leadership Summit if there wasn't a golf tournament. And again this year, Mike Didion was our golf chair, and this is a tradition that goes back so many years. Paul Mikola, for many years, was the chair of the golf event, and Mike has carried on that tradition now. Let's recognize Mike Didion. Thank you, Mike. Well, you know, it is heartwarming to us to see so many of you here for the Foundry Leadership Summit this year. And it's my privilege to take just a few moments to bring you current on the state of the American Foundry Society. Over the past several months, we've been commemorating the 125th anniversary of AFS. And it's been a chance to reflect on really the thousands of metal casters and suppliers and professors, researchers, employees who have made contributions and contributed to a great legacy at AFS. And just a few months ago, the Society issued a collector's edition anniversary publication, and Connor Warren, who I think many of you remember, I hope so, he is the most senior of the AFS past presidents. He called it the best summary of AFS history that he has ever seen. Many of you helped to make that possible through your tribute advertising, and so we thank you very much for that. You know, North American foundries have confronted unprecedented challenges over the past 18 months, and our speakers have been alluding to them all day long today. When the pandemic began, some of our nation's governors did not understand that foundries are an essential industry to our modern way of life and to our economy. AFS teamed up with the state metal casting associations and made sure that foundries were permitted to stay open. Foundries also have gone to great lengths to protect their workers' health, as we heard about today in that great panel discussion that was led by Brent Charlton. And foundries and suppliers also ramped up production of new product lines, ventilator parts, and MRI components, sanitizers, the frames for face shields, and many other products. These were the products that were necessary to support public health at a time of great need. We can be proud of our employees, and we can be proud of our industry's record. Well, as the largest metal casting society in North America, AFS has continued to advance its strategic plan and to deliver member benefits despite the pandemic. So over the past year, AFS has hosted 3 virtual technical conferences with a total attendance of 300 people. In addition, AFS presented a virtual metal casting congress with nearly 1,000 participants. AFS offered 33 educational webinars attended by 2,400 registrants, or about 75 people per webinar, at no charge for AFS members. AFS published 3 new technical books and grew the size and the influence of the International Journal of Metal Casting. AFS also administered the technical library. What a great resource. In a 1-year period, 7,628 articles were downloaded, again free of charge to AFS members. Now, AFS is also implementing a number of major initiatives. One of them is in the area of smart manufacturing. AFS presented our very first ever Foundry Industry 4.0 conference this past June with an array of expert speakers. And while that was a virtual conference, we're going to follow up next July with a live event on the same topic just outside of Chicago. Also, the AFS Engineering Division, led by Brandon Crusade of Magaldi, has been rebranded as as the Engineering and Smart Manufacturing Division. Several new working groups are being formed under that group. This is a major initiative with a tremendous amount of potential for our industry, our progress, and our modernization. Now, another AFS initiative centers on foundry safety. And today's excellent panel discussion, was just the start. In October, AFS will present the annual EHS conference in Birmingham. We encourage every foundry to have at least one representative there. Then in December, in an AFS webinar, Ted Shorn is going to be presenting the newest OSHA safety statistics and what they mean for our industry, what the takeaways are. And next February, Modern Casting Magazine is going to publish a special supplement focused on safety in the foundry. So that's a second major initiative underway here in the coming year. You know, another major focus, as always, is training. And the AFS Institute, or CMI, just completed a successful fiscal year. The number of students trained by CMI rose by 88%, and our industry responded positively to the convenience of high-quality live instruction, foundry training, delivered remotely via Zoom. Of course, AFS has also offered for 5 years now the Foundry e-learning, and usage of that service rose by 40% over the past year. Moreover, CMI had its best financial performance in 15 years, and the Future Fund has grown, which is an endowment, has grown to more than $8 million. So the future looks bright. AFS is looking forward to training great foundry employees for years and decades to come. Now, to help foundries achieve business success, over the past 18 months, AFS has introduced 6 new programs. They're listed on this slide on the screens. All of them are aimed at delivering member value. And so we encourage you or people in your companies to take a look at those member services. And then in the area of fostering innovation, AFS right now is funding about $500,000 in ongoing research, with another $150,000 being invested in the coming 12 months. There are some exciting projects there. Separately, as part of the American Metal Casting Consortium, AFS is concluding 4 government-funded programs that are related to national defense and our warfighting ability. One of those is the CADS alloy database that is completely redesigned to benefit parts designers and engineers. Several new defense-related programs that'll be coordinated by AFS will be getting underway in 2022. Now, looking ahead, AFS has a great lineup of upcoming events, a mix of in-person and virtual programs, and we're already at work planning an exciting Cast Expo for next April in Columbus, Ohio. More than 100 exhibits have already been sold. Superb programming is in the works. Our committees and divisions are in the process of finalizing the papers and topics that are going to be presented. And Gene Bai, our past AFS president, is going to be delivering a white lecture. So it's just going to be a great week in Columbus. Now, according to brand new AFS research conducted just last week, 88% of metal casters now have a positive business outlook for the next year. Most foundries are experiencing robust demand for their products, and that is an exciting thing to see. But that's not to underestimate our challenges, as every one of you know firsthand. Foundries are experiencing high costs or delays or shortages of scrap metal, of specialty chemicals, other materials. And then overall, inflation in the United States is running at an 11-year high. Tom Landstreet referred to that earlier today. The chip shortage causing major disruptions in a variety of industries, including the automotive sector. And the biggest challenge for most foundries is that purple line on the chart that's on the slide. And that is, of course, the nation's worker shortage, the North American worker shortage. And foundries aren't alone. Nearly all of manufacturing is experiencing this crisis. The nation's worker participation rate is now at the lowest level since 1976. We've got too many jobs unfilled. We've got too many able-bodied individuals on the sidelines. Well, AFS has conducted member surveys examining how foundries are responding to the worker shortage. What's working? What isn't working? And a number of individuals have helped us formulate some very insightful questions for these surveys, including Harry Moser of the Reshoring Initiative and Rob Johnson, the AFS board member from Waupaca. So we've conducted the surveys. We've shared the survey responses widely so foundries can learn from one another's experiences. Clearly, there's no silver bullet, but there are some things that seem to be working for some foundries, and sharing that information is another way that your association can help. Now, AFS has been working in many other ways to cultivate and attract workers now, and also attract the next generation of metal casters. And this slide presents an abridged list of AFS endeavors in this area. We're also working closer than ever with FEF because the need for collaboration has never been greater. Just one example of that collaboration with AFS, one new example, concerns what used to be called the Student Poster Contest. Now, together with FEF, we are doubling the scholarship dollars that are available. We have rebranded the competition to recognize the role of FEF in the International Journal of Metal Casting, and we're emphasizing that in addition to scholarships, the winning entries will also be published in IJMC. So think about it, what a great feather in the cap of somebody, 18, 20, 23 years old, a student, to not only win that competition, but also to be published at that age in an international journal. I also want to emphasize that the two shared interest groups, women in metal casting as well as future leaders in metal casting, are going strong. As we heard today from Sarah Tim and from Tom Bai, these groups, these programs play an extremely important role in our industry and in our future. AFS is aggressively advocating for metal casters and policy issues. Our Washington-based team of Stephanie Salmon, Christian Richter, Jeff Hannibal have been key to these efforts. And since the last time that we gathered as this event 2 years ago, AFS has won a number of legislative and regulatory victories. This year we're making major progress as well toward a landmark infrastructure investment bill. And at the same time, we're calling on the administration and Congress not to adopt punitive tax hikes that will stifle our economic recovery. Now, as new regulatory proposals emerge from OSHA and emerge from EPA, our committees, AFS, we're evaluating them and we're commenting on them to make sure that metal casters' voice is heard. And as you all know, last week, President Biden called for an employer mandate regarding vaccines. To be clear, voluntary vaccines are a good thing, and companies have the right to set their own vaccine policies. But this mandate would have a terrible implementation burden on employers. In fact, one foundry in the eastern part of the United States told us right now they're just a little bit over 100 employees. They might consider going to a little bit below 100 employees simply to avoid the costly, time-consuming requirements of this mandate. AFS and the Business Coalition are already at work on this issue and won't rest until there's a satisfactory result. Now, on the global front, the World Foundry Organization, like everyone else, had to move away from in-person programs, but they've presented some excellent virtual programs over the last year and a half, and now they're gearing up for live events next year in New York City and in Korea. So be on the lookout for those. AFS has been exceptionally well represented on the WFO Executive Board the last number of years by Denny Dodson, and now, starting later this week, by Chris Norch, who's transitioning into that role. Let's thank Denny and Chris for their service. Well, to summarize then, the state of AFS is durable, nimble, and strong. Durable, nimble, and strong, just like the industry that we serve, just like the industry that we represent. Your association has continued to deliver a strong return on investment for members during the pandemic, and AFS has also taken the steps needed to remain financially strong for many, many years to come. You know, Michael Lenahan spoke for all of us at the start of the pandemic when he said AFS will come out of these challenges stronger than ever. And that became our mantra. Our commitment to deliver superior member service is the result of strong member involvement from nearly 1,000 volunteers and the extraordinary dedication of our staff. And I know Mike recognized them earlier, but I just would again like to recognize, because several of them are here today, Stephanie Salmon, Mike Lakis, Ben Yates, and Kim Perugia. Would you please rise? Thank you for all you do. So that's a look at today's AFS. Please enjoy your dinner and the fellowship together. The program will resume a little bit later this evening. Thank you again for your support of AFS and our industry. Enjoy your dinner.